Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Hello there, good morning and welcome to Morning Dew on Dott Television. My name is Henry Uzo, and of course, we'll take you through a normal route, news from the papers as reported, and then of course we analyze them. We go to other conversations as we take you through news and events around the globe. You're welcome. Success is also in the studio.
Good morning to our viewers from across the globe. Welcome to Morning Dew on Dott Television, where we bring you top stories and news headlines making waves across the globe. I am Success Benjamin, and indeed, your day just got brightened.
Of course, it's a Wonder Wednesday today, and the day you've been waiting for. From all that we'll talk about today and all the conversations we'll have, we wish that you have a top of the morning right here on Morning Dew on Dott TV. There's so much to come your way today. Conversations around how Nigeria can harness local knowledge. Yes, for national development and for national transformation. We're going to have that today. I am Ife Arono. Join us and let's have a beautiful Wednesday on Morning Dew.
Yeah, it's not only about knowledge.
Anyway.
There's also invention.
Yes.
Some of our people try their hands on some inventions. Mm-hmm. We have seen some people who use something to build aircraft, and on a day like this, Thursday trailing to Friday.
Yes, thankful Thursday, by the way. Thankful Thursday.
So we want to see how we can, exploit what our people are doing. I also saw on social media some boys who said they could from your sockaway pit, generate gas.
Yes, because there's a lot of
electricity.
Energy. Yeah.
So all this, we'll have a guest who will talk on all these things. When we come back, we'll go over to news update, and of course, Success will be standing by. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, welcome to News Update on Morning Dew. The retired military personnel have held a protest in Abuja over the non-implementation of consequential adjustments to their pensions following salary increases approved for serving members of the Nigerian Armed Forces. The ex-servicemen gathered on Wednesday and attempted to converge on the front of the Ministry of Defense to press their demands, but their movement was restricted by armed soldiers, police officers, and other security personnel deployed to the area. The heavy security presence reportedly included armored personnel carriers and several security vehicles positioned around the ministry and adjoining roads, as authorities moved to prevent the protesters from assembly at the ministry's premises. The development also resulted in a confrontation between some serving soldiers and the retired military personnel after security operatives attempted to stop the ex-servicemen from proceeding with their planned demonstration. The retirees are demanding the implementation of consequential pension adjustments to reflect salary increases granted to 7 military personnel. They argued that the failure to extend the adjustments to pensioners has left many retired personnel struggling to cope with rising living costs.
Today is a good day to die. Today is a good day to die. Please, wait. Go and call those soldiers. Today is a good day to die. Listen.
Are calling on the federal government to address their grievances and ensure that approved pension adjustments are implemented without further delay. The development is expected to generate further discussions on the welfare of military retirees and the government's responsibility to ensure that retired personnel receive benefits that adequately reflect approved changes in the remuneration of serving members of the armed forces. Now, in Delta State, the Delta State Governor Sheriff Oboriwori says his membership of the All Progressive Congress obliges him to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other APC candidates ahead of the 2027 general elections. Oboriwori stated this on Wednesday when the Delta State Executive Committee of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, led by its chairman, Bishop Abbas Willie, paid him a prayer visit at the government house, Asaba. The governor urged Christian leaders to pray for President Tinubu, the state, and the nation while mobilizing their followers for peaceful and credible elections. He also said the federal government's reforms were improving the financial capacity of state and local governments to execute development projects. Earlier, Bishop Willie commended the governor's achievements in infrastructure, peace, and development, assuring him of the fellowship's continued prayers. It disclosed that PFN had strengthened its structures across the state, with about 4,150 ward officers and coordinators expected to deploy ahead of the 2027 election. The PFN chairman also said prayer centers would be established across Delta states to promote peaceful campaigns and a violence-free electoral process. And that's it for news updates on Morning Dew.
Yeah, that was, of course, the papers, their headlines when we come back. Stay with us. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, welcome back. And of course, we're going straight to the papers, what the headlines are saying. And we're starting with Daily Sun. On Daily Sun, we have gun battle in Oshogbo. Gunmen attack Adeleke's convoy. Security operatives repel attack at Ataoja's palace. Davido says indecent, not connected with us. 2027 polls, security threats dwarf peace accord. Police arrest mastermind of Mangu attack, hunt fleeing suspects. And then, of course, we have 2027. No threat to Mba's re-election in Enugu. That's Nnamani speaking. FG to channel unremitted pension, EFCC recoveries to education sector. Senate grieves NFF, NSC over poor performance of Nigerian football teams. Sanwo-Olu gives 20 million naira cash gift each to LASU's best graduating students. That's all we have on Daily Sun.
All right, moving over to Business Day. We have here Nigeria's late budget reports raise fiscal transparency concerns. Truck queues swells at Dangote refinery as marketers chase cheaper diesel. And around here we have wages, debt servicing swallow Nigeria's 15.8 trillion subsidy gain. Universal insurance shareholders face 13.6 billion naira loss after NICOM pulls license. And that's it for Business Day.
Wake up with us every morning.
We bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Wake up with us every morning.
We bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
You're still watching Morning Dew on Dott TV, and we're reviewing headlines across national dailies for today. Let's now go to Daily Trust. We have this major headline: questions over 15.8 trillion naira subsidy savings. With the quote, the benefits are nothing because the poverty index increased because people were paying more. That's coming from Professor Ndubisi Nwokoma. Also on Daily Trust, bandits kill 7, abduct 17 in Sokoto. Wike orders car dealers to vacate parks and gardens. Mascots kick off campaign for Tinubu in Abuja. Phantom Council, FEC, approves forensic audit of NDAs. Topical stories on Daily Trust.
Okay, so let's take a look at the Nigerian Tribune. Here above the masthead, we have military retirees protest in Abuja, demand consequential pension adjustments. Right here, Tinubu appoints NA10 as head of civil service. Plateau killings, military relocates tactical operations to Mangu, arrest suspected mastermind. And down here we have marketers blame multiple operational costs for high cooking gas retail prices. Tinubu to address world leaders at UN General Assembly. That's for September 23rd. Zenith Bank sets for seminar on unlocking Nigeria's non-oil exports potential. Now on Earth, we have common pesticles, altered timing of girls Puberty study a lot. Now the topical story here, Tinubu approves EFCC recovered loot, unclaimed dividends for student loans, as FEC approves 170 billion naira for National Library, 15.8 trillion naira for a subsidy. Savings shared among FG states, local governments. Finance Minister says reform saved Nigeria from economic crisis. Another topical story making the headline, police begin investigation, confirmed killing of 60-year-old man. That's all we can take for the Nigerian Tribune.
Over now to Daily Times. The Daily Times has FG borrows 11.9 trillion naira in 30 months, despite 15.8 trillion naira subsidy savings. Above the masthead, we have World Humanitarian Day. UN report reveals 1,932 deaths in Northeast. And then, of course, Channel recovered EFCC funds, unclaimed dividends to Nel Fund, Tinubu orders. That's all we have on Daily Times.
Over to The Guardian, we have here Nigeria risk revenge of the poor over worsening hardship, Otomi warns. 9.5 trillion naira salary bill, fake targets ghost workers payroll. Look beyond campaign slogans, Obi challenges Nigerians. El-Rufai's bid to transfer trial fails as Kaduna CJ backs Justice Kobo. Military pensioners storm Defense Ministry to protest 12 months arrears. Tinubu orders security overhaul amid concerns over policing gun violence. Pre-election anxiety, profit-taking, whip 5 trillion from NGX after 16 trillion peak. Another topical story here, state spending faces scrutiny over 15.8 trillion naira windfall, citizens' welfare. And that's all for The Guardian.
And from The Guardian, we move to The Nation. Above the banner head of the paper this morning, what can we find? Adeleke Oke's 500 million naira fund for violence victims. Governor picks COR. And we also have Wike sets December deadline for completion of 10 key projects. Pension revision receiving attention. General Musa tells retirees. Oyedele, how 15.8 trillion naira subsidy removal gains were utilized. That's the major story on The Nation, with the rider, Finance Minister gives scorecard. Next stage would focus directly on benefits to homes. Above that, we have this one. Tinubu orders transfer of recovered loot and claimed dividends to Nel Fund. FEC, that's the Federal Executive Council, okay, 610 broad projects and others. APC yet to decide on Oshunpo, says Yewada. And at the bottom of the front page of The Nation this morning, Senate summons NLC, NFF over poor performance of national teams. That's on page 39.
Now moving over to The Punch, we have here, above the masthead, 30 months after subsidy removal, FG spends 30.6 trillion naira, saves 15.8 trillion naira. That's what Oyedele is speaking. President moves EFCC recoveries 242 billion naira unclaimed dividends to Nel Fund. Tinubu orders further forensic probe into fake agency scandal. Down here, we have Ondo man arrested for burning daughter over bedwetting. Sawon Olu gives 20 million each to LASU best graduating students. Adeleke gets certificate, unveils 500 million victim fund. Another topical story here. 571 billion naira campaign spending limits for presidential governor candidates. Now the writers here says Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, Makinde, 15 presidential candidates allowed 190 billion campaign spend. New electoral act sets 500 million ceiling on individual donations. INEC says it will monitor campaign spendings. 127 governor candidates get 381 billion campaign spending limits. Electoral advocacy bodies urge strict compliances. And that's all for the Punch.
Over now to this day. On this day, we have Oyedele gives account of FG's reforms after President's directive. And above the masthead, we have Tinubu orders EFCC to channel seized loot on claimed dividends to NEL funds. And then, of course, I think that's all we can take on this day.
Bringing us to the Vanguard. Above the masthead, we have accolades for Vanguard's Uncle Sam as ex-staff lunch book, Reunite Plan Media Library. FEC approves forensic audits to identify fake agencies' ghost employers. Allocations can't guarantee prosperity for states. That's Oyedele speaking, and the writers below says government saved 15.8 trillion from subsidy removal. Wage bill exceeds subsidy savings, accounts for 30 trillion naira subsidy windfall. Now, Atiku challenges Tinubu. And that's all we could take for the Vanguard.
And on Empire newspaper today, we have this one above the banner head of the paper. Youth protest Benin Asaba deplorable road demand urgent federal government Edo intervention. And the major headline reads, a gun battle at Atoja's palace as hoodlums attack Adeleke's convoy in Oshobo. We have this writer there. Governor escapes assassination as security repels 15-minute attack days after election. After re-election. And Governor Diri to politicians, let campaigns be issue-based and respectful. Flags off President Tinubu's second-term bid in South-South. Congratulates Adeleke. That's on Empire newspaper.
Well, that's all we have. Quite a flurry of headlines from the papers. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we will look at a few of them and see how they beneficiate the Nigerian public. Stay with us. Wake up with us every morning.
We bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Welcome back, and of course, we look at some of the headlines, a flurry of them. We appear not to have heard the last about Osun State election. Yesterday, the governor was handed the certificate of return, and then as if he was celebrating, he went to the Atauja's palace, and while he was going down, while he was coming out, hoodlums attacked his convoy, and then of course in the process, a 60-year-old man died. How is that if you're building up to the elections that are coming up?
It is sad, especially since we recall the comments that were made prior to the election. The fact that
by a senator.
Yes, a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria talked about people dying, in amidst the election across party lines because he felt that it was necessary for his party to have the upper hand. We've also seen a lot of violence leading up to the election. So it is sad that even after the election, people have not realized, because things like this, elections are decided by the people. And it is also the will of God that it ended the way it did. So I would have thought that anyone who had anything perhaps against the incumbent coming back would have realized that it's over.
Yeah.
Even the president has congratulated the man.
Moreover, there's a process. There's a court to go to.
Of
so
course.
What's all this?
Of course, but there are some people, we call them non-state actors. But it's not just non-state actors when it comes to insecurity. We're also seeing non-state actors when it comes to politics. People who will not let the rule of law prevail, and for the will of the people in elections to prevail as well. So that's what we've seen in Osun. So we must strongly condemn what has happened in Osun. And I believe that even, of course, he visited the traditional ruler.
Yeah.
So I believe that the traditional institution in Osun, across Osun, can come out strongly against this.
Against what
Yes,
transpired.
before long, the perpetrators will be apprehended and justice will be served for the dead, and of course for the governor to feel comfortable because he was free.
Yeah.
Yes, he moved about freely. Perhaps his convoy was even caught unaware. Because under the atmosphere that we just won an election, everybody is happy.
That was celebration.
Yes, you
So
wouldn't
for you to come
even
with this.
expect that anyone would be thinking of attacking a governor who just got re-elected, who just, got the will of the people once again. So it is something we must strongly condemn, and we're looking at the security operatives, some of whom I believe have not returned to base anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, it's possible that some
they
of
still
them
want to maintain the peace and order.
There is pre-election, there is election, and there is post-election period. So we are hoping that we get an update regarding that quickly as well.
All right. Success. There was a small headline that was read out, even though it was faint, that APC is still about the election. That they are not through. They are not through. They are not through with the election. What can they do? Is it not?
It's simple. It's really simple. It's nothing to worry about. Raise dust over and over and over. The president has actually come out to congratulate the winner after the election and all. So it is simple. If you're not convenient with the result or the outcome of the election, you go to court. Provide your evidence before the courts. Provide your evidence before the people. Justify whatever claims you're having. Go to court and say, look, this is it, this is it. These are my claims, these are my evidence. Maybe I should be the winner, or the person that has won the election and has been already presented certificate to is not supposed to be. So let's see your reasons. So we don't need this noise anymore. Not now.
Do you realize, Henry, let me just add this, that not just the president has admitted that he recognizes that, yes, that it was won by the incumbent governor. We've also seen the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, coming out to say a lot about the election. The fact that he could have won the election.
If the election could have been lost, if he was.
If
there was a president's mind.
If the top actors, I know, of course, he's not in the president's party. But I do know how close he is to the powers that be in the country. He is also part of it, part of the powers that be. So if these people have acknowledged that the election
Tacitly.
went well.
Yeah.
From their
No, that
utterances.
the election was lost.
Yes, and of course they admit that it went well. It went the will of the people was upheld
yes.
as well. So that is why the APC contesting this election, we're watching them from the sideline, but we're not new to this. A lot of times when elections are concluded, the main opposition finds it hard to come to terms.
To accept the results.
Yes, exactly. So they are biting their fingers now, which is natural because losing, but you have to be a good loser.
Okay.
Even in sports.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to be a good sportsman as well. So they said that they are reviewing Osun election. That is what the APC has told the Nigerian people. And we do hope that at the end of their review, they can come out to tell Nigerians that indeed
the election was
will
won
of
and
the
lost.
people of Osun State prevailed.
All
and
right.
then all this will be
Calm
put to
down.
rest.
Well, whatever they are reviewing, maybe is to enable them, re-strategize against further elections. Maybe not to. The review is not to reverse.
Of course, because
so
not
much,
to reverse.
so much,
to court.
so much on the
strategy.
Osun election. We only hope that
Peace
they will
and
allow
calm.
peace to reign, and then of course we commiserate with the family of the deceased, the man who was the victim of that attack. Now moving over, this one is a bit worrisome. Wages, debt servicing swallow up 15.8 trillion subsidy gains, 11.9 billion borrowed. Now, look at the money borrowed, look at the money saved, 11.9 borrowed, 15.8, saved. Now, what does that say about the expenditure of the federal government? What are we really doing? We say we're saving subsidy because the president told us that very soon, he said this recently, that very soon they were going to tell us what they want to do or what they have been doing with subsidy. Now, we are coming to say that it was spent on servicing debt and then
subsidy revenue.
What's all that? So where are we in this matter?
I believe that we've come to a point where we have to be very sincere about fiscal mismanagement in Nigeria. And when I look at those who are managing perhaps the economic setup and the economic system of Nigeria, it gives a lot of confidence because when it comes to human capital, we have it. We have these people who they go to international setups, they top the chart, they can discuss the economy and everybody around the world understands that these people understand
what they are saying.
But perhaps the understanding is on paper. It's not reflecting in the lives of the Nigerian people, especially since we have a huge debt burden. So sometimes I wonder, we remember the time of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and how she was trying to manage the economy. A lot of times, one thing I took from her time there as Minister of Finance was she tried to carry us along. Yeah. She tried to be very transparent about what was going on. And sometimes she took a hard stance. Yeah. Because she knew that, but I believe that some of those gains made over time.
They've gone down the drain.
They have gone down the drain. So how do we begin? How does the Nigerian economy begin to recover? Yesterday we saw that food inflation had become better.
Overtaking the trend of
exactly. We're told that
the cost of living.
Exactly.
So overtaking the drop in inflation.
Yes, so but the food
it's like saying nothing.
Is also I saw a headline that read that food inflation had eased, meaning that it had gotten better. Yes. But when you look at the reality, you will find that the reality is nothing to go by the books.
No, the headline was that, the news was that inflation has eased. Yes. Generally. But the cost of food is on the very high side.
Reality. So where are we driving at this time? That is why what I'm calling for is for us to sit down. The likes of, we have perhaps the governor of Anambra State, the former CBN governor. Absolutely. He said a lot. He attends economic summits and all of that across the world. We have the Minister of Finance, we have the CBN governor, all of these people who are managing Nigeria's economy.
And knowledgeable people.
Yes. It's time to call a state of emergency on Nigeria's, all of these dead things. There has to be a balance.
There has to be a balance. There has to be, because
the situation where we have experts in the area of the economy or who studied economics or finance and can say a lot, do a lot. Whenever they come into office, some way, somehow, we still have the status quo ante remaining. does it mean that the government does not allow them to do their work the way they should?
It's the same question I've been wanting to ask, because we have those persons, we have those experts. They are there, and that is why they are being made minister of, finance and so on, because they can actually track, they can actually say it, come with a better result and how we manage the resources of the country and all. But yet, we don't see it getting better. They come up every day. We keep hearing of how our economy keeps deflating. We're having inflation and so on and so forth. And borrowing.
To do what?
Borrowing. So what is the essence of subsidy remover? When we keep borrowing at all time. So where are we actually getting to? Is it that these persons, it's the same question I'm asking, is it that these persons are not being allowed to, carry out their duty properly, or what is going on?
One thing I would suggest, because if we want Nigeria to get out of the woods, we have to reverse this trend of monies getting into private pockets a lot. Okay. We've seen times when certain governors will say, I am not going to take my salary for a certain period. I won't be earning salary. I want it to go back into the state's economy so that, wealth can spread. We can use it for other things. Nigeria has come to that point where political office holders, we will know usually. You mean
this thing you said, did it ever happen in our government or in other clients?
No, I've seen it. I can't quite remember who, but I know that in this country we've had people say, I will not take my salary.
It was only President Yar'Adua that I know that the money, because a lot of money goes into security votes. Yeah. And then over a period, he said this money should be returned to the treasury because we didn't have any security issue. And Nigerians commended him for it. Yeah. That was the first time we ever heard that, because most of the time, the vote to security is very high.
It's huge.
And whether they do anything or not, the money is adjudged to be spent. Exactly. So he came out and then people commended him. But for governors, I don't know.
I will research that and let you know. Okay. But I know that and it's not just political office holders. We've had people, captains of industry. Yeah. Because when they look at the salary they are taking and how that this thing can mean something to the average people who need it more, they can let it go. Can we come to a point beyond the 2027? In fact, even before then, because campaigns have started.
It's gonna be impossible.
Campaigns have started. No, let's not lose heart. Campaigns have started. Can Nigerians demand that anyone who's coming, assuming, asking us to vote for them, will tell us that they will forfeit their salary?
But most of them is the money they are coming for.
Most times it's not money.
The driving force.
That salary is what is statutorily allocated for the person on a monthly basis. That is what we're talking about, because that's the one we know. Usually, what political office holders get beyond the salary is more. We know this.
It's scaleless.
We know these things. So if we can at least have people who are committed to say, whatever I am paid, I will give it back to you. Just give me your free will. Just support me.
How possible would that be?
That is it.
How possible would that be? When we have governors who retired from office and they aspire to become senators, House of Rep members, so on.
Apart from that, they still earn what they call retirement benefits. Governors are on retirement benefits. So whether you are in office, whether you aspire to the Senate, while you are in Senate earning your salary, you are still earning your... all these things
Desperate situations demand desperate measures. Nigerians can demand it. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Nigerians can demand. That is why, of course, we're going to see town hall meetings happening. People are going to be, what do you want us to do? Some people can even, by the time we begin to request these things, some people can put it in their manifesto to say, I am promising you. And then we'll hold them by their word that they're going to ensure that this monies come back to the treasury. That way, we can begin to reverse this idea of paying off debts.
Well,
because indeed, the country is...
I want to join you to mobilize Nigerians to begin to call for, accountability in office. That is the most important thing.
Political office holders who are pro-people. Yeah. Because they're okay. A lot of them are very okay already.
They are.
All right. All right. Let's move to another area. The federal government. Okay, the president, particularly, has asked that all monies recovered from loots by the EFCC should be channeled to the student loan fund.
NEL fund.
And the NEL fund, so how do you see that?
Well, I have witnessed the onboarding of students across the country on NELFund. I even heard a sitting governor, who was advocating for people of his students in his state, to key into it. Because at the time, when NELFund was pitched, to the Nigerian people, a lot of people
like
were
a farce.
Yes, a lot of people did not quite believe, because when people have gotten used to a government that does not quite care about them, even when government genuinely wants to help, people just pull back. But when the governor spoke, and this is a governor who understands economic indices, people began, people there, I watched the expressions in the faces of people, and those I have seen NELFund offices in some states, in some institutions, the fact that the sensitization has gone on, people are being educated and encouraged to come on the platform. That tells you that if we have that pool of young people, and the president, and of course through the EFCC, is able to mop up all of these funds, we can spread the wealth somehow. Because actually you need young people to be somewhat okay if you're going to stem social unrest.
Yeah.
And we're also seeing protests by youths about deplorable roads and all of that. But by the time government takes care of some of these small issues, so that young people are not at their own
so that you
mercy.
don't protest about road.
No. By the time you take care of that faculty, you can then gradually do your projects.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need all the agitations.
All
It
right,
is because people are running dry. You look on this side, there's nothing coming. You go to the road is not good. But if there is a soft landing for young people somehow, at least we can believe that renewed hope is here.
Now, success. They call it NELFund. I think the L there is about loan. Loan to students. Do you have to give them loan? Because loan means that they will pay back.
They do pay
or
back.
You subsidize their education. Which one would have been better? Because NELFund is about loan.
It's
Students
loan,
scheme.
yes. I think
Loan fund.
earlier
Can't
this
we
year,
just look for indigent students and see how we can support them instead of
there
giving
is
them loan?
there is this
education
buzz. I think they have bursary for Delta State, whereby the state governor pays parts, like, should I say, like a stipend monthly to indigenous students. Yes, indigenous.
Students of the state.
Students of the
Is
state.
it indigents or indigents?
No,
indigenous.
Bursary is about
For
indigents.
indigents
All
of
the
the state.
students in
So,
the higher
and
institutions.
somewhere
there's an
early
amount of
this,
money they pay them.
somewhere early this year, I attended, a seminar organized by NELFund in Abuja.
Okay.
Yes, the headquarters there. So they are actually talking about it, that there are also some students that have not, paid back the loan. So right there, I asked a question like, should this really be a loan for students if the federal government is really coming out to say, okay, I want to, help the young people, help students of Nigeria? It's simple. We've had so many funds go into different places that we can't even give account of right now. That we are not even saying, okay, this is channel to health. We are having the doctors coming every day to, agitate for strike. This is not going for, education. ASU is clamoring for strike now. So why not this fund just go and say, okay, every Nigerian student is, entitled to this
X
amount of money monthly or yearly to help subsidize, the high cost of education. Education is expensive right now in Nigeria. So I don't know.
So it should be a grant, not loan.
It should be a grant.
Most of the students who want this loan, they need it because they don't have money. So by the time you are hanging debt to them. So in that case, federal government is owing, state government is owing, students are.
And do you know the funny part of it is that when you apply for this loan, your father, your mother will be aware of it. So when you didn't come out to pay, they will have to call your parents or your guardian that, and yes, your guardian or your parent has to give their consent to read that, okay, yes, you can, we need the loan.
If it doesn't pay back, then we'll pay.
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't really have to be
that
way.
It is necessary for us to, perhaps, I believe that NELFund should do a bit more sensitization about this, so that people know exactly what they're going into. And perhaps give a repayment system.
Regime that is acceptable.
Maybe payment by installments. Also, for schemes like this, perhaps the federal government is thinking, I don't know if they're paying back 100%, because you're also thinking sustainability. If this is a legacy project of the Tinubu administration, perhaps maybe a fraction of it can be paid back by the students. That way you're sure that it continues.
It's not a fraction, you're paying back the 100%.
100%.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, those who are going in students, when you go for a fund, when you go for the loan, know that you are going to pay back some way, somehow. This one, 571 billion campaign spending. There's a limit to it for all the candidates, now, and INEC said it's going to monitor expenditure. Nobody should donate more than 500 million naira, individual donation and all that, as a way of checking money overspending. We know that in the time of the last election, the way Ghana must go, and then money was spent in dollars.
Not even naira.
Not even naira. So, but how will you respond to that?
The truth is that Nigeria is rich.
Very rich.
Yes, and the point where we begin to realize that humanity first, you must redistribute that wealth. I'm looking forward to a generation of leaders in Nigeria who will sit down and say, no, we don't want all this money. Let's give it back to our people. And that will be the transformation, the point when Nigeria begins to get transformed.
But if this money is spent on the people, though, because the electorate, they have their problem. This money they are talking about donating for spending is people that they are going to give it to.
Yes, we're talking
It's
about
used for vote buying and other things.
You know that there's
and
a
it is
difference.
the
So
same people that you're talking
vote
about
buying?
that are waiting to collect the money.
Are we encouraging vote
We're
buying?
not encouraging, but I understand where he's coming from.
I'm just telling you why money is budgeted for.
Henry, let's reason
Because
this
I'm
out.
about to ask a question.
We are individuals.
Okay.
Do you know that if the government focuses on providing infrastructure, building systems that help us work well, we don't quite need anybody to give us money.
Okay.
Nigerians are hardworking, naturally.
I agree with you.
Yes, we have the manpower, we have the skills.
But our politics is played in a way. Let me give you an instance. If they say, for instance, that a campaign trail, whether presidential candidate is coming to Asaba, there are foot soldiers that they're going to distribute money to. This one to do this, this one to do this, this one to do this. Then the crowd that is coming, for you to hire what is it called, boss, to bring people from Ugogobo, bring people from this place, all this. Then as they are going, you still, that's what the money is spent for. It's still the same people.
Exactly. We're waiting for a generation
Logistics.
that will rebrand Nigerian politics, or rebrand Nigerian politics, rebrand our mindset, our understanding of what development should be. That when government invests in infrastructure, and we as people, if government focuses on developing infrastructure, if all our national wealth goes towards building systems that work, where welfare systems work for Nigerians, we don't quite need anybody to give you money, and then you'll be free. You'll have a free conscience to vote your conscience at that time, because no one is giving you money directly.
If you give me money, I'll still vote who I want to vote.
Exactly.
Yes, because you're enlightened. You are an elite.
Exactly.
You're not the average Nigerian. Because some of those people, they are the ones who have to monitor. Yes, because to get more from a politician, you have to mobilize for him. So those are the people we're talking about. They're looking at what to get now, but you're not looking at what they will give you. You're looking at the bigger picture.
The bigger picture.
So if we have a new generation of Nigerians, and of course, putting them in the right, if we can put the square pegs in square holes in 2027, if Nigerians can look beyond whoever is distributing money and decide that we're putting people of integrity, people who have values, people who will go in there and say, I don't want this money, I have made it. You know, the one I have is enough for me. I want whatever is coming to us to be for the national good or for the communal good, and put it back. If we begin to do this, if we begin to insist that the right people go there, believe it or not, the transformation we've been waiting for would have begun.
We hope that our youth are hearing us on this matter.
I want to comment on this because let me take us back to the Osun election and the victory now. So we have youths that actually came out to, vote their conscience and also protect their votes. And the outcome of it now, it is giving Nigerians hope. And even young Nigerians that Nigeria can be better. Only if we come out to stand up for the truth and know what we are doing and say, this is what we want, this is who we want, this is who we want to be our leader. Not for, like we say, election logistics, vote buying and all that. Because I think Adeleke's uncle said when he saw that these persons are coming out to buy votes, he went into his room and prayed that let this money be collected by the people and let the people still vote their conscience. And that was what happened. So if we have this mindset that no matter what, they come and they said, and they want to buy votes, we will collect their money and still vote. No, the people will let the people collect their money and still vote their conscience. So we can have a better society for ourselves. We're looking at the bigger picture here, not what we want to get now.
I think that's enough to mobilize the youth. I think they are standing up for that because the next story, which we end our discourse just now, is about youth that protest the bad roads in the state. You know, federal roads are all bad. Bini Asaba Road, for instance, they were protesting the Bini Wari. Very bad roads. And the youth are standing up to say, we can't take this anymore. So that is consciousness.
Yes,
but then talking about
we were in Warri recently, and the city was so beautiful. The air was different, the atmosphere was different. But one thing I realized was I kept saying, I didn't even know, even unconsciously, these roads are bad.
Okay.
It didn't help me enjoy the city. You know, it wasn't
okay,
something.
You mean the intracity roads?
Yes.
Okay.
It was difficult to navigate the city because of the bad road. But you could tell that this city can be much more. Beyond aesthetics, the transformation, the transportation system and all of that, the commerce there, the economy of Warri is huge.
That's the nerve center, the commercial nerve center of Delta State.
And you would see the roads that were constructed.
That should do it for paper review this morning because our time is up. Thank you, Ify. Thank you. Success.
Thank you.
And then, of course, you are just sit by, stay with us. When we come back, we shall be going over to sports. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We are moving over to sports. And of course, there's always something happening. And Anthony Uche is in the studio.
Good morning.
How are you today? Good morning.
I'm doing really well.
Anthony.
Yeah, what do you have for us?
Just a few stories. Mostly, we'll start from the one that rather disappoints me the most because one of my favorite tennis players of all time, especially in modern times, Nick Kyrgios, not popular, not a lot of people know him, at least not for being friendly, because he's always that one guy who is not backward and coming forwards. He's very, very critical, very, very harsh with his words sometimes. And unfortunately for him, he announced yesterday, before the official announcement came from the Integrity Agency of Tennis, that he had tested positive for a residue of cocaine. So he was provisionally suspended, and he could eventually get up to a 4-year ban because the test was made during the Mallorca Open in June. And the rules in tennis, if you test positive for any drugs, even if you're not on tour, there is a suspension. But then if you test positive whilst in a tournament, then you get the maximum punishment of 4 years. And for Nick, for Nick, he's facing a 4-year ban. He's 31. And if that ban is up to 4 years, it most likely is the end of his career, because at 35, I don't know if he has the physical, because he put out a statement himself and said, I want you to hear it from me first, that I tested positive for a cocaine residue in my system.
Is it that he tested positive or he took cocaine?
Now and then he tested. Now you have to take before you test. No, that was the statement he put out.
Like,
That's the positive. That's the statement. That's what he said.
Coming out by himself to, say that first. It's a lot.
No, not really. I mean, he already knew the writing was on the wall for him, perhaps.
Oh
and
my
he
God.
knew, just come out clean, said he was sorry, apologized to his fans, family, especially the young people who look up to him as a role model. And he said he would step away now from the public and from social media to take care of his mental health. And he attributed some of it to something that a lot of athletes can relate to. I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's right. There are so many other ways to deal with injury setbacks, especially physical injuries. But Kyrgios has had the last 2 years of his career really blighted by wrist and knee injuries, consistent knee injuries. So perhaps he said that played a role in him trying to, do something extraordinary. The same thing happened to Paul Pogba as well. If you remember, a couple of years ago, he ingested that thing unknowingly. The substance he tested, he said it was in his wife's medication. That, when you feed your spouse with medication, especially the ones that are gel or liquid, then you lick off.
You taste it.
Yes, you lick off that small thing. So he said that was why the thing tested in his system. And ahead of that time, and most recently as well, Pogba has had a lot of injury problems. So Nick Kyrgios has also attributed some of the wrist and neck and knee injuries that he had to part of the reasons why. But like I said, that's not a justification. It's just an excuse.
Inexcusable.
Yes, it's just an excuse, not a justification. So for him, well, we'll see what happens. But one thing is sure, he won't be on the tour for maybe the next 2 years or so, possibly for the next 4 years, and ultimately will be the end of his career. And then, of course, with Mourinho, Real Madrid's returning manager, revealed in an interview with El Chiringuito in Spain a couple of nights ago how he managed to, make Vinicius Junior stay at the club. Because I remember a few weeks ago, I came here and I told you about how Vini was on his way potentially to Arsenal, yes. And because he was in the last year of his old contract now, but he's not renewed. And Mourinho revealed to El Chiringuito in an interview a couple of nights ago how he convinced him to stay. He only simply said to him, where do you want to go now? You've known Spain. Madrid is all you've known. You've come from Brazil at the age of 18 to Madrid or 17, and this is what you've known all along. So why would you want to leave now? Where do you want to go to, basically? And he just simply told him, don't leave. It's not worth it. And that was, he explained to him. And I think sometimes this is the important part of coaching that people do not understand. Coaching and management, you also have to be a father to those players sometimes. Because Mourinho said, look behind you. Look at all of the players who have left Real Madrid in the past, including Cristiano Ronaldo himself.
Yes.
You can only go down from
leave.
Madrid, because there's no club bigger than Madrid.
That's right.
So you can only go down. You can't go up because there's nothing above Real Madrid. So you can only go down. And to leave Real Madrid at 26 is not encouraging. It's not advisable, because you now start to go down as what's supposed to be the peak of your career. Really. So that was the advice he gave Vini. And a couple of days later, Vini went back to the negotiation board with Real Madrid, and they found the conclusion, and they extended for 6 more years at the club. So, I was just trying to highlight, the role coaches play in the lives of the player. And Mourinho he's been this kind of person those Chelsea boys, he coached John Terry, Frank Lampard, DJ Drogba, and then the Real Madrid players, Messi, Ozil, Karim Benzema. A lot of them have always said it in the past. How much they loved Mourinho, not because he was great tactically. He's not that kind of.
But his involvement in
yes,
their
he's
private
involved
life.
in the private life. He comes, he advises you. I mean,
mentorship.
yes, there was a time where Messi Ozil would have made perhaps what was the most ridiculous mistake of his life. He was dating a Spanish model at the time, and Mourinho told him to leave the woman alone because he was not going to marry her.
Yes.
So he said, stop, messing with this person if you're not going to marry them eventually. And Ozil desisted from that. And a couple of years later, news broke of the woman being promiscuous in the public. So he saved a lot of those players. And Frank Lampard said, even till today, as a coach of Coventry, he still reaches out to Mourinho for advice.
Yeah.
And Mourinho, so it's not just about your playing career. He also mentors you even after you finish playing. So it's just that Mourinho, just as well as Sir Alex Ferguson, the United
that one is a father.
Yes,
Oh,
the
that's
United
like a
boys
father.
always told you about how he, even to date, a lot of them still call him to get advice. Even Steve Bruce, the former Manchester United captain who won the first Premier League title in 1993 for Manchester United, he was playing under Sir Alex. He said there was a time he got a job that he was supposed to take up. And then Sir Alex called him and said, don't do that.
Don't go there.
Support you. Yes, that club will not support you. And he didn't ultimately go there. And the person that took over after him got sacked after a couple of weeks by the club. So a lot of these things. And then as well, Cristiano Ronaldo, remember in 2021, was very close to joining City. Manchester United City rivals. He only took a call from Sir Alex Ferguson, and that flight was diverted from the blue half of Manchester to the red half. That was why Ronaldo returned to Manchester United the time he did 21. So a lot of these things, a lot of the coaches is just beyond the field sometimes. And some of these players, even the ones, especially for Mourinho, said they would die for him. If he had to get to that point. Samuel Eto'o as well played at right back at some point for Inter Milan for Mourinho. And then the next coach, when he moved to Barcelona, Pep Guardiola was trying to convince him to play on the wings, not even in defense. He said, I can only play out of this position for one man, and that is Jose Mourinho. So it just brings you back. And for Vini Jr., you remember a lot of things could have gone wrong between himself and Mourinho. If you remember a few months ago now in the Champions League, the Gianluca Presnelli racism issue that made this rule that players are no longer allowed to cover their hands because Vini Jr. alleged that he was racially abused by Presnelli when he covered his hand. And guess who was the Benfica manager at the time? Jose Mourinho. And he came out and said a lot of things that, including myself, did not sit well with at the time. I did not understand. I did not concur with him. So that could have also been another reason for Vini to say, I'm out of here. You're bringing somebody who did not even support me when I was allegedly racially abused. So a lot of these things, but he found a way as an experienced father that he is, diffuse the whole situation, get Vini Jr. to renew, and now they're looking forward to having a fantastic season in front of them. And then the final news I came with is the transfer of a certain Tijani Reinders from Manchester City to Al Qadsiya in Saudi Arabia. But the move is not what is the story actually. A lot of people did not know it. This young man, he's Dutch, and his name, as you can see, Reinders, is Dutch. But his first name, Tijani is the one that rings the bell. Tijani is a Yoruba name, it's a Nigerian name. So the story about how he was named Tijani, and then his father is Dutch. Like I said, he is Dutch. He was born in Holland. This is Tijani Babangida when he was at the top of his game, playing for Ajax. Tijani Reinders' father, Tijani Reinders' father liked Tijani Babangida so much that he named his son Tijani after the Nigerian. So a lot of people will be like, why is he wearing a Yoruba and the Dutch name at the same time? Well, it is just simply because his father liked Tijani Babangida so much at the time he was playing for Ajax that he named his son Tijani Reinders.
Okay.
Yeah, before you go, I want to look at Real Madrid as a football lover.
Yeah.
The pairing of Vinicius Junior and Mbappe, how much did he help Real Madrid? Because there was this tendency in Mbappe to say, I should be the one to score the goals. And it didn't sit well with most people who are fans of Real Madrid.
This it will be their third season together. And the first two that they played together underwhelming. Generally, as a team. Real Madrid hardly won anything. The previous season, it was just the UEFA Super Cup and then the Intercontinental Cup. But last season, absolutely nothing. The first time in over 50 years in Real Madrid's history that there was no trophy. Yes, exactly. So, and that prompted, a lot of the major changes you've seen so far. I remember they signed 6 players or so far this summer, changed the manager, and a lot of things behind the club is being changed because of the reaction is needed as a result of how poor they were last season. But talking of the two guys up front, one thing I am sure of is that the best players in the world want to play with the best players.
Okay.
Because then they help you get better. They help you win
Yeah.
stuff. Because trust me, no player wants to be the best player in a
Alone.
team of underperformers. Yes, because then you're actually going to suffer. You're going to struggle. And if you are the best player in the team that is not doing well, all of the pressure is going to be on you from the media, from even your teammates sometimes. So, for as good as Messi was at Barcelona, he had that midfield trio behind him.
Yeah.
He had David Villa playing alongside him. At some point, he had Luis Suarez. He had Neymar.
Yeah.
So great players want great players alongside them. And for Vini Jr. and Mbappe, the problem has always been about the coaching.
Okay.
It's about the coaching. And I think if Carlo Ancelotti was there when Mbappe and Vini, played together, came on board, that friction was a lot less. The only problem was that a lot of them was trying to play on the left. Because that was that was Mbappe's first season. A lot of them wanted to play on the left because Mbappe is playing through the middle, but usually he's a left winger. He started his career playing off at the left wing. Only switched at PSG at some point because they had so many players on the flanks. So I think it's about the coaching. The coach has
you think Mourinho will be able to manage the situation?
I think he will. You simply tell players what to do, and they will do it because they are quality players. They're talented. You tell him, Vini, you have the left. Mbappe, you have the middle.
Okay.
Mind your job. Do your job. Stay in the box if that's what you want him to be. But if you want him to be the kind of striker that also moves to the flanks, like I said, it's about coaching and tactics. When he gets into those positions,
thank you, Anthony.
Yeah,
thank you. We hope to see you again. Viewer, thank you for staying with us. We will shift from here to other conversations. Just keep staying with us. Wake up with us every morning.
We bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Wake up with us every morning.
We bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, welcome back, and it's time to speak some French. Bonjour. I hope you're doing good wherever you are because, we are going over to French, gather family members, friends, and learn to speak French from Francisca Anthony. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
Bonjour, Francesca. How you
Bonjour,
doing?
madame.
Ça va?
Ça va bien, merci. Et vous, ça va?
Ça
Ça
va
va
bien?
bien,
merci.
merci.
Ok, merci aussi. Et merci pour votre temps. Bonjour à tous et bonjour de jeudi. Aujourd'hui, c'est le jeudi 22.
21.
21. Voilà, merci. 21
Jeudi le 21.
août 2026. Yes, I just said the dates in French, and we said it's 21st of August 2026. Et comme d'habitude, je m'appelle Mademoiselle Francisca Anthony Francisca. Yes, mais j'aime quand vous m'appelez Fra, c'est mon nom. Oui, et la fois passée, on a fait beaucoup de choses. On a fait un joli sujet qui est le couleur. Yeah, the last time we treated a nice topic, which is the colors. And we have, in French, we have so many colors, not just in French, in English, but you just have to learn the French words in French, in English. And we said the red is what? Rouge, le rouge. In French, all the colors is being placed on masculine. Yeah, not because they are not feminine words, no, but because the works on colors is all masculine, part of it. But in French, that L apostrophe, not just masculine, is part of feminine and masculine. And we say le rouge is red, le rouge, red, le bleu, blue, le jaune, yellow, le vert, green, le noir, noir, you see? Yes, le noir, black, le blanc, the C is silent, not blanc. Le blanc, white, le gris, gray, le rose, pink, le violet, the violet is still silent, violet, purple, l'orange, orange is supposed to be a feminine word, but still L apostrophe go, yes, l'orange, orange, le marron, brown, yeah, this is the list of the simple colors that we have to trace for now. Et aujourd'hui, on a on a un joli sujet intitulé, yes, titled La famille. La famille is today's topic. Yes, all of us have beautiful families, right? Right? Oui. Yes, la famille. S'il vous plaît, répétez après moi. La famille.
La famille.
La famille. That's the family. Yes. Normally, in French, we say, okay, in English, we say father is the head, mother is the, but in French, mother and father, mother is just the head. Yes. Because sometimes say la mère, sometimes say mother before the father. Yes. You know, it cannot come, if you want to see, if you enter a family, first of all, meet the mother before the father. Yes, sometimes it happens. Et la famille, we have them all. We say le père, which is the father, la mère, mother, la sœur, like sœur, sister, la sœur, sister, le frère, brother, la femme, wife, you can say wifey, those that say wifey, wife, la femme, wife, le mari, husband, la bru, daughter-in-law, répète, la bru, daughter-in-law, le gendre, son-in-law, we have jumeau, le jumeau or la jumelle. That's a twin brother or twin sister. Jumeau is the brother, while jumelle is the sister. Yes. And we say, in terms of family, there's so many of them. We have la grande sœur, which is big, you can say big sister. Yes. L'oncle, uncle, la tante, le cousin, le cousin, cousin, la cousine. Okay, le cousine, cousin. There's two words in French. La cousine is kitchen, while la cousin is cousin. So sometimes some people may mix it up. La cousine, kitchen, while la cousin, you see the pronunciation, cousin, cousin. So now we are saying la cousine, which is female cousin. Yes, and we have so many of them. Le grand-père, grandfather, la grand-mère, grandfather, grandmother, le frère. As we said earlier, we have le frère, brother. And we say le fils. We have le fils too. Le fils, which is son. Yes. La fille, daughter. Ça va? Ça bouge?
Oui.
La fille, daughter. Répète. La fille.
La fille.
Vraiment, merci. La fille, daughter. Le fix, son. The X must be there. That's for the son. Le fils, daughter, les enfants. Les enfants. Les enfants. They are the children. And we say, yes, father is what? Le père. Mother is what? La mère. Les parents. Les parents. Even from the pronunciation is what?
Parents.
Très bien. Les parents. Parents. La fille. La fils. Sorry. Désolé. La fille. Daughter. La fille. Daughter. Le fils. Son. Ça va? Oui. Et please, the next picture, please. And okay, let's say in French like this, sometimes the masculine words might change because the gender is a feminine or a masculine. That's why we use lo for masculine, la for feminine. Les, L-E-S, that is for plural. Ça va? And we have, this is family in French. That's what we are still on la famille. And we have parents, which is what? Parents, père, father, mère, mother, bébé. Encore? Baby. Encore? Baby. Bravo. It's what? Baby. Sir, sister, frère, brother, grand-père, grandfather, grand-mère, grandmother, petite fille. Encore? Petite fille. Encore? Petite fille. Which is what? Granddaughter. Très bien. And the last one, petit fils. Petit, the fille is silent. Petit fils. Encore? Petit fils. Bravo. Which is what? Grandson. Okay, right now, we can just probably say we have known the name of, maybe we have to pronounce father in French, and we say it's what? Le père.
Le père.
Yes. And mother is what?
La mère.
Then how about brother?
Le frère.
Le frère. Merci. Bravo. And sister?
La
sœur.
How about grandfather?
Le grand-père.
Yes.
Voilà, c'est
Le
ça.
grand-père.
Then son?
La fille.
Le fils.
Le fils.
Très bien. Le fils. Son is what? Le fils. And daughter? La fille. Très bien. Hein? C'est tout pour aujourd'hui. C'est ici que je vais arrêter. Et on va continuer la semaine prochaine qui vient. Et comme d'habitude, this is where we are going to stop for today. We're going to continue from next week. Okay? Like I always do. Merci pour aujourd'hui. Merci pour le temps. Merci mes spectateurs pour le temps et pour tout. Oui, tout, pour tout. Thank you for everything. Thank you for always watching and always following. Ok, je m'appelle encore Mademoiselle Frafra. C'est mon nom. Merci, monsieur.
Ok,
Ça
thank
va?
you very much. Merci, très bien.
Thank you.
On se verra le mardi, non?
Oui, on se verra le mardi.
Okay, so that's to say we'll see you again on Tuesday, God willing. Just sit back. When we come back, we're going to conversation. Stay with us.
of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
We impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity, and unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
Dott Entertainment, your weekly dose of pure fun, airing every Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m., only on Dott TV.
From Harrison. That is a massive world record. Martinelli goes, boys, out of his goal. Martinelli! This will be 3 for
Welcome to Roots and Rhythms, showing on Dott TV every Friday.
We impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity, and unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, you're still watching Morning Dew on Dott TV, and this is the conversation we've been waiting for today. We will have a conversation about how that there are low-hanging fruits. Nigeria is blessed with you and I. And there is a lot that we can do to make our society better, if only we can look inward. So we'll have a conversation about harnessing indigenous knowledge for Nigeria's transformation. And we're joined on Zoom by a man who has done so much to harness young people for change making in Southeast Nigeria and indeed other parts of the country. Ozioma Nieto joins us live from Onitsha, Anambra State. Ozioma, good morning. Are you there?
Hello, Ozioma. Can you hear us? Hello? Hello?
Okay.
Oh, we're
trying to establish links, but
connection
talking
with him.
about indigenous knowledge, you know, a lot of times we look around us and we see jewels, things that can be much more, you know, but the only problem is usually how to think through it and to create solutions. We're talking about the deplorable state of our roads and all of that. Usually we bring in construction companies from outside the country to fix our roads. But if we begin to look inwards, perhaps we might even find that the constructions can be done locally and more efficiently.
Yeah, there are areas that are seriously technology-based driven. Such areas, you will not be making any points if you want to. But that is not to say that we don't have our own, you know, indigenous technology, for instance. Things like building of drainages and all that. There could be also indigenous ways of doing it. And some of our youth are very talented in some of these things that when you engage them, you find even our local contractors, there are some of them that are quite good. It's just that there is this attitude that tends to, you know, affect everything. One of them is this. By the time you are engaging me to construct a road, for instance, and I give you my bill of quantity, and then you push it back to me and say, okay, you have put that you can do this job with X amount of money. I want you now to increase it to Y amount of money. The money on top is meant to take care of interest. And then by the time you are giving me my mobilization fee, for instance, I see that the money you are mobilizing me with, a good chunk of it is going to take care of people who are not doing any work. So me, I would not say, okay, fine. Still, these people can have all this money to themselves, but let me also see how I can cut corner and keep some more money for myself. Now, it's not as we don't have people who can do things right. It's about our orientation. It's about the leadership we are providing for the people. Talking about using the youth to transform the nation. There are a few people that we have heard do some things. I've seen a young man that was trying to test run an aircraft that he built locally. It looked like toy, but it flew. It had remote control. He ignited it in the thing. Okay, it's like we're establishing contact with Ozioma. Ozioma, are you hearing us? Good morning, Ozioma.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Yeah, good morning.
Good to have you this morning. We're just, waiting for us to start because when we spoke before, you didn't quite hear us. So you're okay?
Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome,
I'm okay,
Ozioma.
I'm
Thank
okay.
you
You're
so
welcome
much
to
for
the
joining
program.
us. Ozioma Nieto is a co-leader of the Everyone a Change Maker movement of Ashoka, Africa. Now, Ozioma, you talk about change making a lot. First of all, let's start from here. Amidst challenges lie solutions and opportunities. How true is that statement in the Nigerian context?
Sorry, come again. I think I missed something.
Okay, we usually hear that amidst challenges, amidst problems, lie solutions and opportunities. Is that true for Nigeria?
Yes, exactly. Yes. I have a whole lot of realities, things that are playing out to tell you that it is a very huge yes. Because to me, I believe that the only way out in the mess we find ourselves, or not just Nigeria, in Africa and most third world countries, that the only solution we can ever get out of this is what we start doing by ourselves. Because take for Nigeria, for instance, look at the condition of our society, the environment. You find out that young people presently, they zero their mind that the government is going to create enough jobs for us. And you find them doing a whole lot of things for themselves. This, in as much as it's not so defined, this is people taking their own destiny into their hands. The things the government should have done, they are doing it. Look at what is happening in Nigeria, mainly Lagos presently, where people are finding the fintech solutions. In fact, from what I studied, I found out that some people below, say, 15, 16, they live their whole life without even visiting a bank. All these things are not defined, but these are young people trying to sort out the mess they found themselves in. They are not surrendering to the conditions in the society. They are looking for solutions to save themselves. So I believe that once there are a lot of problems, like when they will solve something about jobs that the government is all creating, they may look at and see that electricity is a problem, that with electricity, their production will increase. You will see them solving problems of that. And before you know what's happening, they will solve a lot of other problems. So I believe that once there are a lot of problems, in it is a seed of people being inventive, people solving a lot of problems and getting progress.
Now, Ozioma, you talked about electricity just now. I know I have seen, news about some young men, I think it's a Ebonyi State, who say that they have discovered that it is possible that from our sockaway pits, we can do some connections, do some things that will pipe gas to our houses, and we can just be cooking with that without having to buy gas from the gas stations. That's on the one hand. That from the same sockaway pit, you can generate electricity. Now, these are children of necessity. Now, these people have been able to do this. We know that they need a lot of, do I call it investment or motivation or instigation? Now, your group encouragement, thank you. Now, your group, for instance, I know you are privately based and you mobilize them in terms of ideas. Now, how can your group, for instance, collaborate with government to see how investment can be made to encourage these people to spread this their discovery to beneficiate the greater Nigerians.
Okay, thank you so much. In as much as we know that certain is a responsibility of the government, but looking at the reality, most times we think of things we can do not depending on the government because we know about the bottlenecks in getting things done with the government. Not that we're going to leave our government not to take their responsibilities, but we focus more on how do me and you solve this, and then we believe that when we do that, and government sees that, even the government, if we're going to give will I say slap for the government, we will find out that present governments, every government gets worse, and then everyone will inherit whatever the previous government leaves, So the government is still looking for a solution. So if we can find that solution here, it is easier for the government to say, okay, this is working. Let's come in. Like when you look at the fintech, those OPay, whatever coming up, you find out that government is now interested, government is regulating, government is trying to find a way to ensure that the organizations owned by the government pick something, copy something from what is working and then try to implement it. In fact, there's a particular program government is running where it places young people into all these organizations to learn, and they pay the young people. So I believe that the most important thing or the most visible thing is not about trying to tell government to come and invest in this. It's about us thinking of a way we can do that. Just imagine if Ebony State will start using biogas to fuel their kitchens, generate light. I can't see why the governor or even the president will not say, let's know how to amplify this. Let's know how to multiply this and get it out there and make money, get young people engaged. The government is not wicked that it doesn't want young people to have skills. Once we develop it by ourselves, they are looking, they are watching. In fact, I know that some governments at some point support all these young people. But for us to have it in that scale that we are looking at, there should be something visible, something that is working, and then the government will come in. This is not for us to start talking about if government is very responsible or not. We are just looking at solution. How do we do that? What can you do for, if you see such a young person, will you just, in fact, sometimes it's not just about giving them money. It's about talking about what they are doing. By talking about what they are doing, you can even attract an angel investor.
Okay.
It's just about you, amplifying whatever, and then if you have legs in the government, you can still reach out and know whatever is happening, So I believe that by so doing, once that thing have the visibility, you may be surprised. Whatever the point the person needs will come from the most unexpected channel. And then once it starts working, it will not just
Hey, we're losing contact with Ozioma, but he was saying something about the fact that whatever anybody is able to think of and start doing, we also as journalists, we have a duty to talk about it, to attract attention. And that's what we're doing
We're
here.
asking him questions, but he was reminding us
that
that we also have
a duty to do.
as well.
When we restore contact with Ozioma, we'll continue with him. But for now, like what he was saying, there is this distance, I don't know, lacuna between government and people.
The people.
Even when you want to draw the attention of government, they pay attention to the things they want to pay attention to. And that has been a challenge. Even look at our polity or our system of governance. A governor starts something that is good. When another governor comes, instead of following up on what this man has been doing before, he starts another one that is going to run 4 years are not enough for you. So the issue of continuity is a problem.
I tell you what, I got involved with a government agency at some point for media work. And one of the things I really wanted to achieve was to hold the hands of young people, young innovators, and at least show the world what they were doing based on the platform of the government agency, because once you anchor on government, you're likely going to attract the attention of policymakers. People will see it more.
Okay.
So I pitched the idea to the leader, and he said something. If you're going on the streets to talk to people who have innovations to come forward to show what they have, do we as government have the funding to support them? Because the moment you go to them to say, oh, we want to see what you're doing, the person already has an expectation.
Yeah.
I didn't get to do that. But now, as stations, as media houses, we can afford to, because when you get to them, they are seeing the value we're bringing.
That's
because
right.
Visibility is such a great value.
Yeah.
But from government, they stopped me from doing that because they weren't so sure that the expectations will be met from their end, because everybody believes government has money.
Yeah. But the language of no money, no money. To what extent can that be true? When government tells you that we have seen what happens today, what happens with our expenditure profile, where borrowing is like eating up our savings. We're saving money from subsidy by withdrawing it. Now that one is overtaken now by the extent of our borrowing. And then you ask yourself, what is on ground to justify these huge borrowings? Because borrowing itself is not a problem.
No, it's not.
There are countries like Brazil.
They were
when
built.
you get there, you wonder why they call it third world country, because there is nothing you are looking for in the US that you can't find in Brazil. In point of fact, they are one country that has domesticated technology. As far back as 1981, Brazil has started driving car with gas. All right, it's like we're having a
Ozioma
back.
Welcome
can you
back,
hear
Ozioma.
us?
Ozioma, can you hear us?
Yeah, we stopped hearing you at a point. The network is not complimentary, but we'll see how we get by.
There was something you said regarding how that government pays attention to what it wants to pay attention to. The government agency that I mentioned, it's not that funds are not allocated, but most times government already determines what they want to spend on. So when you're coming up with something else,
it's like extra.
Yeah.
Ujima, can you hear us now?
Yes, perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you. All right, you were talking, and then we lost you at some point. So I know you challenged us also that when we see what is being done, we also on our part can amplify it as the media to draw the attention of whoever, not only government but other agencies. Now let's come to you. Are you still hearing me?
Of course.
Okay. Now let's come to you as the co-leader of each movement, where each is everyone a change maker. Can you just situate us on what people are doing so that we know how to follow up with the conversation? What are you aimed at doing?
Okay, thank you so much. The acronym says, everyone is change maker. Like you guys are there talking to us, trying to bring the news to our doorsteps. You are being a change maker. You are taking decisions. You are pushing a narrative. You are shaping our mind. Watching you, we are getting something. And everyone, most times, is doing something either rightly or wrong. But when the person sits down to understand the world we are in, that the world is changing so fast, and what exactly they are doing and how they can be a change maker, it will change the whole thing. Most times when people are changing their world, they don't have a word for that. They don't have a term for changing their world. And sometimes they don't even know that they are change makers. And that is where each comes in. Because each what it does is it tells the young people that what you are doing, the exact thing you are doing is about your world, about maybe your environment. You try to be a better you are trying to make more money. And then he's trying to tell them that if you do that alone, if you are going to be the only person that will succeed in your environment, you've not really succeeded. How can you, whatever you are doing, how can you ensure that a lot of people become a part of it? They will become a part of it. You will scale it in such a way that it will benefit that particular community. In fact, there is a particular short story about what you want, how you understand being a change maker, what it is like. There's a particular story of the people that we are traveling in a car, and then they saw a log. A log crossed that particular road. Everyone was inside the car because it was raining. No one came out. Then a small boy, being inquisitive, just looking at what is happening, went to start to push the log. He cannot push the log, but immediately he placed his hand on the log. People smiled, they laughed, and they saw him trying to push it. And before you know what's happening, every other person is coming in to help the small boy push it. To the small boy was playing, but what he did is that he has initiated a change. People were relaxed. They saw the problem. They will not solve the problem until that small boy took action. So that is what change making is all about. Once you are conscious of what you want to do, sometimes you are unconscious. But once you are conscious of what you want to do in the society, start talking about it, take action. You will find others joining and then succeeding in doing that.
All right, let's look at this. Most people can effectively make a change from the area of their giftings and their training, or if you like, their learning. Now, how do you go about it? Do you gather people to speak to them on how they can become agent of change, or do you have a platform that you gather youth or whoever has an initiative that can make a change? How do you go about it?
Okay, yeah. When you come to Ashoka, you find different levels or different organizations within the Ashoka movement, where we first of all identify people that are doing something already. Identify, because there are some people that are born leaders, people that don't need you to tell them what to do before they will start doing something. When you identify people like that and tell their stories, everything is about storytelling. That's what I'm telling you, that what you guys are doing is very, very important in the new world. It's about where people are getting their information. So when we start telling the stories of these particular people, it will inspire others. When you celebrate a boy that runs so well, you'll be surprised the next day. You'll find 10, 15 boys trying to run to know if they will be appreciated. We call it copycat, and we are encouraging it because when you are encouraging the good ones, you find a lot of people wanting to be a part of that particular change. So first of all, it starts with a storytelling. It starts with not even the persons doing that. It takes someone that knows that, let's talk about this. It's going to impact the society positively. For the person to talk about that and then get others to be a part of it. And then again, there are skills. When they talk about skills, earlier on, people would think it's just something you have to do with your hands. Your mind is a tool. If you sharpen your mind, you can use your mind so well to implement change. So there are skills like when I will start trying to tell you about conscious empathy. Conscious empathy is when you put yourself in a situation of another, that kind of a thing, the empathy. But now you're not just putting in another human, you are putting in the society. Like come to the place I stay in, like Anambra State. Sometimes we may be passing a particular area and seeing the deaths here and there. And all of us will be complaining about this place being so dirty. The question you as a change maker is, what have you done? It may take you coming in every morning to pick this, for people to pass and say, this guy is doing something wonderful. This guy is doing something nice. Someone may pass a particular day and give you a bottle of water. At a point, someone will come and say, why are we leaving this boy to be doing this particular thing? And before you know what's happening, the group will come together and know that this is not the right thing to do. Yes, we know the government should have done that, but we shouldn't allow this person to be doing it alone. That alone, you have inspired the change. It takes a whole lot everywhere you are, wherever you find yourself. In fact, you don't need to be in the position of authority to be a change maker. You can be just the cleaner. And one thing, just a very little thing you are doing consciously to ensure that the society is better is what makes the whole difference.
Okay, Uzoma, talking about harnessing indigenous knowledge, some persons might want to know, what are these indigenous knowledge? Can you throw some lights on it?
Yes. Okay, yeah. Like in Anambra State, the initiative, the project we ran in Anambra State was called Change Making in Culture and Education. Culture came first because we found out that our ancestors our ancestors were change makers without using the word change makers. Take
Okay.
Igbo, for example. Igbo, one of the most popular saying in Igbo language or Igbo culture is Onyaya na nwanne and Igwebike. Igwebike means that when there are more people, the strength comes in number.
The
Our
more the
strength
merrier.
comes in number. That and Onyaya na 1 year is when you are moving. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, we're hearing
very
you.
well.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. That when you are moving, don't you move with your people. You don't leave your sibling. You don't leave a relative. You don't leave a community member behind. So we are moving together. If we are going to succeed, we are going to succeed together. There is a Southern African word that says Ubuntu. I am because we are. You know, there are a lot of words that our ancestors used in the past. That what does is it tells us that we should be conscious of our environment. We should be conscious of people around us. Like Igbos will say, "Abatobi onye bụ nwanne." So that means that even your neighbor is your
Your neighbor
sibling.
is
So
your,
whatever
is
you
your, is
think
your
of your
brother.
sibling, think of that for your neighbor. And when you have that mindset, already you are empathetic, which is the foundation of Ashoka. You have empathy when you know that you won't leave your brother behind, that your brother is your sibling, that in group we are stronger. You find out that you start moving. So when we localize it, we are not bringing anything new. We are just amplifying what is already there. And we believe that humans, once a human can identify this as mine, it makes it easier for the person to start working on that than bringing in something foreign, something strange, and it be like learning something anew. So now we said, this is what your ancestors did. Yours will not be different. This is who you are. You know, so that is where everything marries. Because, like I said earlier, there are some coinage, there are some words you will say, and it will sound so strange. But when broken down, you find out that it is something so common and so you, as in so you are nothing so anything new.
Now, like from what you're doing, I see that you go to schools and you talk to children. We're talking about indigenous knowledge, and we find that the education, the way our education is patterned, tends to alienate us from our indigenous knowledge. Many of our children now, they go to school and they fail to speak our local language. They go to school like all the axioms and idioms you are saying, Onyaya na nwanne. There are many people who don't understand what it means, even though when you say it, they can claim to understand, but they don't know, you know, the motivation, the drive in that speech. Now, how much challenge are you having when you go to school to find how that our indigenous knowledge is being alienated by education?
Yeah, thank you so much. But I would like to differ a little. Education is not killing our indigenous language, in my own opinion. But I think we have a shift in culture, and it started some years ago, but it's not what we would delve into. There was a particular person in a particular class, and even then in Onitsha, we found some people they called traders, and they assumed that because they couldn't speak English, they were not in a particular class. So they forced their kids into trying to ensure that they start speaking English, so to show that they will fit into the higher class. I think that's where culture, you know, culture is not something static. That's where the culture of shifting from our language to a foreign language came in. But once you lose your language, you've lost almost everything. Language is very, very important. So when we go, and most of our works are translated in local language, there is little we can do in that particular aspect, because you come to the school, maybe you come this month and you return next 3 months. These teachers are people they are with always. And that was why Ashoka did not go directly to the students. We engaged the teachers. We started working with the teachers, trying to let the teachers understand that once these people can understand who they are, their origin, once they can start speaking in their own languages, then it is easier for them to grasp all these things. So now I am putting it out that we don't go there trying to teach students or trying to tell them that you have to use your language Rather, we teach the teachers. It's just like these are the people they will be with every passing day. And there is no guarantee, Joe, but you have to do the best you can to ensure that you pass on change.
Oziama, are you there? Okay, now let's talk concretely about
Yes,
what
I'm
has.
still here.
Okay, thank you very much. You've talked a lot about what Ashoka Africa is doing in driving the Everyone a Change Maker movement. So far in the Southeast, I'm aware that a few things have happened. Can you walk us through what has happened? What are the kind of challenges or problems that students and perhaps teachers have identified? And what kind of solutions have they come up with? How far have they also gone in driving those solutions for community development at least?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, when we went into Anambra State, our expectation was just so low. It was our first time in the Southeast, and working with Anambra was kind of strange. But the beautiful thing happens because when you challenge young people, you find out that inside them is that seed that will change everything. You know, we went to Aguata as the pilot community. We used Aguata local government in Anambra State, Anambra South, to be precise. And we engaged some schools there. We brought in their teachers. We gave them the skills. Equipping them with the skills is telling them that this is exactly what we want to achieve. We want where the young people will be so conscious of their environment, conscious of their classmates, conscious of the society, and start thinking, is there a new way of changing all these things? You know, so after the whole thing, we gave them the task to go back to their schools and think of what can we do as a people to change. You're not the world. You're not changing the world now. You're just changing your school. And the beautiful thing is that when we came back after like a year, in between, we were working with them, having the network, talking with them, seeing what they're doing. And after a year, we came back to Aguata and we found something mind blowing. We found out that a particular school, in fact, the school that came first, they sat down to look at the problem of exam malpractice. And they sat down to say, this is how we can solve it. This is the problem it causes in the society in the future. This is what the exam malpractice, the after effect, you know, and if we want to solve it, this is how we can solve it. And in solving certain problems, or most problems, you don't make a villain of certain people. The culture is there, people have gone astray. You try to tell them that what you are doing is not right. There are better ways to do this. You know, you try to communicate to them because some people are doing things out of maybe they are competing. But when you tell them all of us can cooperate, it doesn't mean that you'll be left behind when we do this. So they found a way to ensure that even the young people, why will you do exam malpractice? Let's find out. Maybe you don't have time to read, maybe the teachers are not teaching well, maybe this. So they created something like peer education, you know, they created it from the beginning of solving the problem to ensuring that during the exams, the kids will not cheat, you know, but there is a particular solution from the grassroots, from the angle of why do these people cheat at last? Is it because they are lazy? Is it because they were not well taught? Is it because they saw that others are succeeding because of this and they think that this is a way to succeed? So when you look at a solution like this, and these are young people, 13, 14, 15 years, you know, and when you look at it, it starts becoming interesting. You as an adult, you start nodding when they talk about this is the problem we found, and this is the way we want to solve it. A particular school at Gota High thought about that their students play, the hospitals are far or whatever, and they are playing in a rocky area. When they have issues, maybe have injuries, there is nothing like a first aid. And they are now thinking of if we have a first aid group, organization, or whatever, or maybe a group of people learn the first aid, it will be with them. What if they graduate? What happens? So they started a different kind of club where they tried to ensure that every individual in Aguata High knows something about first aid, and that's changed the whole direction. You know, it started becoming interesting that they are not thinking about let's teach our people in our club how to take care of someone that has injury or give the person first aid before waiting for the experts to arrive? How do we ensure that every student, anywhere you see a student of Agwata High, you are looking at someone that can manage accidents as it happens? You know, it starts getting interesting. And the beautiful thing is that in Anambra State, they were joined by 2 diasporan schools from US, and they had a pitchathon in, I think that was July. In July, they had a pitchathon. And amazingly, Anambra State came first, second, and third. I'm telling you, they won the students in from America. But the process is the beauty. Or it's not about who won or who did not win. It is the process, what they were able to discuss, what they were able to bring on for people to listen to them. And you find out that if this can happen in Agwata, if you know Agwata well, it is something that can be replicated in many other places. So this is Agwata just space. Ashoka is looking for a place to working on what works in Agwata, where did we fail in Agwata, and how do we improve that? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Thank you, Zioma. We can only wish you well, you and each movement.
And Ashoka Africa.
Believing that you'll be affecting the youths, because that is where we are now. How we can, in the midst of the challenges we are having across the nation, how we can get the youth to know that they are important in the wheel of change. They have the means. Can only wish you well. Thank you for coming on the program. We hope to be hearing from you some other time. Bye for now.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
My pleasure.
All right, viewer, we end with that. And of course, when we come back, we'll be signing off on the program. Stay a minute with us. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, that's been our program for today. Before we go, Ify,
It's been a beautiful day.
what was it like for you?
The fact that Nigerians can request for empathy
Okay.
from political office holders and our leaders, especially now that a lot of them are coming to us. This is election campaign period. So everyone just know that campaigns have started. Gradually, they're going to be calling you. Those frying akara, they will even come and take your spoon to fry it with you. Those roasting corn, you can expect that this is the period. And when they come, please stand up for what is right, because we see the bigger picture, not just the stomach infrastructure. Have a beautiful day.
Yeah,
yes,
success.
it has been a wonderful day this morning, and looking at how Nigeria our borrowing lifestyle, and what we're able to save, even a removal of fuel subsidy. Yes, we should be able to give account for how our funds are being spent. At least they should be channeled to the right directions and for the right purposes. Do have a wonderful day and stay with us.
Yeah, for me, I think we can do without violence as we go into the elections. What we heard from Osun State is rather disturbing, and we think that everybody should rise to condemn it, especially the traditional stool. The governor was on a visit to the Atoja of Oshogbo and then was attacked. That does not speak well of our polity. Please, as we go into the campaign proper, let's de-emphasize violence. Let's base on issues. Let's talk to Nigerians. Have become very intelligent, and we hope that come 2027, we're going to have a government in place that will have heard the voice of the people and will work in line with the desires of the people. On that note, we want to thank our guys in the control room who were able to manage the network issue this morning, talking about Chika, Ikechukwu, Aaron Ojeifo, Nkechi Kachukodi, and of course, Uzochi Okere. Thank you for being there. And for the management of Dott TV, thank you for always the privilege. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition. Have a blessed day. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew,
where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.